Or are you coming off the cloud yet? What's the first thing that you're aware of?
Feels like I'm in a Greek structure, like a platform with columns around it, and there's no roof, but there's columns forming like a wall, and it's like a hexagonal shape.
What color are the columns?
Gray.
Oh. Do they look very new or weathered?
Very old, and there's nothing around them. It's like there's nothing else there. It's just this structure.
What about what you're standing on, the ground below you? What does that look like?
I'm on a boat, like a box that's raised from the platform. It's like it feels like it's floating. It's not attached to the ground.
What part of it is floating?
I'm on a box.
You're on a box.
I'm on a square shape. It looks like a box, but it's like a square. It's more than that. It's like it's like raised.
What color is it?
It's also gray. But it's clear. It's like a clear. It's hard to explain. It's not a color. It's like clear. It's almost see-through.
It's almost see-through. I see. And you said it's levitating. It doesn't touch the ground. What about the ground underneath that box? Like you said it's the same material as the pillars are made of?
Yes, it's stone. Feels like stone. Or something similar to stone or marble, like tiles.
Tiles.
Marble looks like the design.
Are they big tiles or?
They're huge. They're like massive. Suddenly the space feels so big. It's like a huge. It feels enormous. Really big. Like each tile is the size of like you could fit like 30 people in one of the tiles of this floor, and there's. Yeah, it just feels so big.
You said there's pillars all around you? Or is it over on one side?
There are pillars surrounding this whole space.
What do you see past those pillars? Is it light or dark past them?
It's unclear. It feels like open. It feels like blank space.
Blank space. What about when you look above? What is above you?
Sky.
What color is the sky?
Black.
Black. All right. Is this a cool place or a warm place?
I don't feel the temperature.
Are there any sounds in this space?
Hear anything that gets my attention. I don't think
What about
hear anything.
What about smells? Are there any smells associated with this place?
I feel like I don't have the same senses there.
Yeah, that's good to notice. It is that way sometimes. Exactly. Is there an area of this space that you're in that would function as an entrance or an exit, or?
The space feels like it's shifting, like it's like my relationship to the space is, it keeps getting bigger and then smaller. When I decide to tune in with like the details, it feels so big, and then when I'm not tuned in with the details, it's not. It's interesting. I'm noticing I have an impact. The way that I'm deciding to perceive the space has an impact on the actual size of the space.
Yeah, that's good to notice.
It's not, so it's like kind of molding to what I'm choosing to tune into.
Is there any sense of touch to that box that you're standing on? What does that box feel like? Is that a hard box or a soft box, or what does that feel like?
Now it feels like it has rounded, it's more of a round, at first it felt like a box, like a platform, but it's round, has like a rounder, it's hard for me to see the edges of it are not clearly defined. And it feels like translucent, but almost like a metallic feeling, like a metallic quality. And it does feel very strong, and like it would be heavy, although it doesn't feel like it's, you wouldn't assume that it's heavy because it's flying or floating, but it feels very dense in a way.
Does it extend quite a bit from the part that your beingness takes up on the box, or is it just about to fit?
It's just my size.
Just your
it's
size.
Almost part of me. Maybe it feels like it's supporting me, and it's something that I'm on. That I use to maybe travel on or in.
So look down at how you're placed on this box. What does that look like when you look down at the part of you that is connected with the box? What does it look like?
It looks like I'm in a puddle.
You're in a puddle?
Like it's a watery, feels like I'm in a, like that's what it looks like, a metallic water licking space.
And is that part of what you are, or is that what you're standing in?
It felt distinctly different from me, but when I look down it feels like I'm part of it.
Tell me what you look like when you look down at your own.
I don't see the line of the different, I don't think that this is familiar, heady feeling or appearance.
It is familiar or not familiar?
Not familiar. It's,
just report what is there. There's no need to make it right or fit or explain it. What does it look like? What's your best grasp of it?
It just feels like metallic, watery, but very strong, like dense. Powerful, like it has a powerful feeling, like a metal has a powerful like energy to it, strong energy in it. That's what it is, like there's a strong conductivity in it. I am the strong conductivity, and it feels metallic and watery, but also like it has a sturdiness to it, like a very strong like it just reminds me of like a science fiction, like a blob of like slime almost, but it's like strong, but it's not slime, it's like strong conductive material, but like this other type of material that we don't know about. I wouldn't know about.
Is there any shape to you at all?
I can make any shape that I want with this material, this structure or energy. It's like any shape, could be any shape. Can fit into any shape, and I notice I can make. Yeah, depending on what I focus on, I can change the shape.
You change your shape.
And of the outside, the structure outside that I'm in as well.
What was that?
Like the structure that I first landed in, this pillar structure, feels like I'm changing the shape of that again, depending on what I'm focusing on. Like there's not a defined structure necessarily to anything.
You generate it.
That's what it feels like. Yeah, depending on what I choose to focus on, it's like things will be magnified and come into different form, amplified. The form will be amplified.
I see. Does it feel like there's any gender to you? Is there any male or female to you?
No.
Do you feel young or old?
Very old. Feels like I'm old, but it's again like beyond the time. It's not time. No time, but old, like an old, like a very sturdy. Sturdy is the word that comes. Like like a weathered
Mm-hmm.
feeling, like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Been living through experiences for a long time. Mm-hmm. Do you feel strong or weak?
Strong.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel healthy?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Good. So this space that you're in, whether you create it or not, this is a space that you feel like you frequent, or is this a new space for you? What does it feel like?
It feels like a place that I frequent, and it's a place to go. It's like a space that is used for transportation, or for transportation, for movement.
Mm-hmm. For movement. Mm-hmm. Do you mean movement in that particular space, or what is involved with the movement? What moves?
I think I go to this place to move. It's like I go to this space to, well, it seems like we would say teleporting, or moving, not moving in that space, but going there as a place to travel, to set an intention of where I want to travel, and then travel there, travel to other places.
Oh, I see. And do you have any awareness of feelings? Do you feel excited or joyful or something else? What?
I feel peace.
You feel
peaceful,
peace.
And I feel just very expansive and very like contained in this like powerful energy.
All right. So when you're not on this sort of launching pad, where do you find yourself? Take yourself to the place that you find yourself at when you're not on this launching pad, where you spend most of your time, if there's such a thing. What does it feel like?
Space, it feels it's white space. There's nothing that I can see, but I feel this is where I spend most of my time, and that there are other energies there, but I feel very contained in my own energy, and it feels almost like I'm in my own space, although other energies are there, and I know they're there, but I don't feel like it's just different. Yeah, it's nothing in particular is there, but it's a feeling of anything that I could want to experience or want to see is there, and I can choose to see that or create that, or there's nothing there though.
Do you have any shape yourself?
I feel like I'm just part of the space.
What is it that you do with yourself when you're here? What does that look like or feel like?
It's hard for me to ask that, because it feels like nothing. There's nothing happening. I'm not doing anything. There's just being in that space and feeling that like I am the space.
Like you are the space. So move forward to the moment when you are prompted, or there's an awareness of going into that launching pad that you just described, or whatever that is, teleport station. What happens in that moment? What makes you move from that white space to that launching pad, or whatever it is? What are the mechanics involved? What kind of elements are part of that?
I get a call. I get it's like I have signal or some kind of, like, I don't know if I create the signal because I want to, or if it's some signal, like, feels like a light is brighter light is shining in the space, and then it's like the signal that means that I go to this other area, but it's not like going there, it just appears.
It just appears.
The other area just appears. I don't really have to move too
Right.
much. And then I am interested and curious about, I feel like I have the curiosity around, like I just want to look, I want to see all these different things, and I can go and look at them, I can go look at whatever I want.
So it feels like you do this frequently? This is something that you do frequently?
Doesn't feel so differentiated from being in the space that's just the peaceful, restful space that I am, and then also choosing to go and see, like simultaneously just seeing into all these different spaces that are interesting for me to see.
Is there such a thing as a favorite place or a favorite realm or whatever that is? Do you have any favorites?
I'm seeing a space where there's a lot of red, and like in the red area, red is the color that I feel here, and it's interesting to feel color, like I'm feeling it, like it's a quality of warmth and love, like a warmth, loving energy, like fiery feeling. I feel that as I see this place that I'm looking at, it's red filled in it.
Is there any physical shape to it, or is it just like energy, or what is it like?
Feels like it's like another place that is like land, but it's like gas. There's gas everywhere, and there's like really weird formations and rocks and like old structures, like reminds me of like Stonehenge or something like that, like really cool rock formations that have intentional meaning behind them, like they're for almost like someone was playing a giant game, like a big game with these big rocks, to like have them set up in a certain way that they make a message, or they make a sign, like a symbol, they make a big sign.
That's one of your favorite places? Because you like the red?
I like the red feeling a lot, and then this place feels like another, just a fun place to go where there's other energy there that likes to travel. Like it's another launching place where there's like these ways of seeing into other places, or other like other dimensions, or other.
Once you're in that red place, you mean? Oh wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So, going back to that launch pad on that sort of rounded box thing that you were on, standing there or being there, what is your trajectory? Where are you going to go? What is the thing that you're going to? See what that is.
I'm going to Earth.
You're going to Earth?
Yeah.
How do you feel about Earth?
I'm curious about it, and it feels really small from my vantage point. It feels very, it feels like a toy.
Like a toy, yeah.
Yeah.
What is your interest in it?
feels like going to play with a toy, like going to play in this game. You know, playing this. It's like a game that I can go and be like almost like you take a board game out of a box. It's like a feeling of that. Like same feeling, like, oh, I'm gonna go like open this and play this game. And
play this game.
One of the little, but it's almost like choosing to be one of the
little pawns.
Pawns and like a path, like one of the games where you're on a little path and you're following the different challenges along the path. That's what it feels like.
Have you done that before? Have you been on that planet before?
Yes.
What are your memories of it? Like, what does it feel like to be there?
It's really interesting to feel like this game again. Feels like I've played it many times, and it's been different games though. Like it's not the same game every time. It's like a different. I'm seeing almost a stack. It's like a different. Almost like we would go into a library and there's many books. There's like many different volumes of games to choose from to play. And I've chosen many different versions. And maybe these are lifetimes, but this is important to know this game, the notion that there's like different types, like almost as though we would call it a brand, like a different type of game each time. And
different experiences to be had.
Yeah, but that's significant. The game part is like this different feeling and just.
And why do you play that game? What are you getting out of it? There's like such a fun feeling in going to this like library to go choose the game that I want to play this time. And many times of choosing different experiences. And do you do that before you go to that launching pad, or is there such a thing, or when do you do that? What does that look like?
It's all happening at the same time. It's all in the same place. It doesn't exist in any different place.
I figured.
They're just in the same place. It's all happening in this simultaneous space. And I go back to choose.
You go back to do what?
I'm seeing when I first chose to go into this, if there's a time when I first went to go choose the game, or if I chose it for the first time.
What was involved with making a decision? What were the elements in place? How did you get your information? What does that look like or feel like?
It feels like I'm getting it from me, but it's just like it's like the light again, like a signal, amplified feeling of light is coming on, and then it signals this feeling. There's a feeling of like a curiosity. Yeah, like being really curious. And I'm already looking into all these different places. It's like I can look through to anywhere. I can look and see anything I want. And then I feel very curious about going to experience what I'm seeing. And so I go and I choose the game that I think will help me see, experience, and feel what it is that I'm seeing. I want to be in it.
Oh, and as we find you here on this launching pad right now, what is the experience that you're going to have? What does that look like? What are the parameters, the constructs? What's happening that you're going to be doing?
This is one of the first times that I decided to go.
It's one of the first times?
I want to know why is it important to go see the first? Maybe I'll just see what one I'm okay.
So just whatever comes up. There's no need to direct this, to figure things out. The more you can just let it happen.
Okay, the first one that I feel is I'm back on this box thing, and I'm in this like translucent, like almost, it's like a bean shape translucent thing. That's my base bottom part that I'm aware of, and then I'm in this space surrounded by these pillars, and I'm there, and I make the decision to go. I get to make the decision to go and follow this feeling, this curiosity, and to go be. Is there something directing me?
What? Something is directing you?
I'm seeing if there's something. I feel like I'm the director. I'm the one that is creating this whole.
So at this moment that we found you here on this box thing, what was the experience that you were going to go into? Look ahead and see what that is.
I'm in a grassy area. It's very open and green and on earth, and it's beautiful. It's a field. There's white flowers, very small flowers blowing in the wind with big tall grass. And it's like for miles and miles in every direction, this beautiful green, like vibrant, rich land. It's so enriching to be there. It feels so good. The energy there feels so clean and uplifting and joyful and just alive. And I'm in a woman's body, and I'm in human form, and I'm a younger woman, and I'm just in this field, and it's so beautiful to be there. It's like the happiest I've ever been in my entire life. It's so
Tell me about
peaceful.
so peaceful. Tell me about the body that you're in. Is the body tall or short, or what is it?
Smaller woman, blonde, long hair. It reminds me of the Alice in Wonderland woman. Like she's like that woman, small and like an older time, like in I'm wearing an apron, which feels old, like a pioneering time or something like that. But I'm in this really. It's like no one else is there. There's not a lot of people there. I think I'm in New Zealand. There's not a lot of people there. But it's like this green, expansive land, and it feels like I'm in New Zealand. There's these mountains in the background, and it's just like this clean energy, clean air.
See what it is that you do with the majority of your time while you're in this body. See yourself doing whatever that is.
I'm working with the land, and I'm working with flowers, and I'm making like flower things. Like I'm making like oils and like medicines, healing. I'm making healing things with flowers and teas, and making things with the land, things that I find in the land, and I go out and I'm even finding like mushrooms and finding different things to make healing like remedies with, and I'm making them at my home. I have this beautiful space where I am like creating things like all day, where I'm just making really beautiful healing things that help other people. And people come to me from all over the place, from far away, to get these types of things that I make that help them heal their pains and also not just healing, but helping people with feeling better and just feeling good, giving people things to help them feel good and to feel really healthy and strong and open, feeling love.
Tell me about your space. Does it feel like you share this space with anyone, or are you by yourself?
It feels like a really beautiful, like brown wooden building, but it's like a light wood, and there's a white light feeling in it, and white sunshine coming through, and the roof is angular and wood, and feels like it is this is not the space where I live. This is the place where I have my healing, like my space where I have my like operation, it does feel like a sanctuary, but it's like where I have where people come to see me, and I have my like workshop. And people sometimes choose to stay there, but I don't live there. I live nearby.
Tell me what that looks like.
I live in another place that's white. This is a white building that feels like it's white with a black roof, and the roof is also angular. That house feels more like it's old, but it's more modern than the place where I have my workshop. It's more put together, like more elegant, and is closer to where other people live, and I don't share the space with anyone else.
Tell me about the people that come see you. Are they mostly men or women? Or what do they look like? What is their skin tone, complexion? Do they look the same as you do, or different? What do they look like?
There's many different people that come, and some people bring their children. And there's many children that come actually to be there, and I can help them with certain specific things that they need help with. And I see that I also am really connecting with and I can't tell if I'm a person or if I'm a fairy or some other kind of and it feels like I have this connection to this like elemental land and energy there that is part of my work that I'm bringing to share with people, whether I'm speaking about that specifically or it's just inherent in what I'm offering. It's just part of it.
Feel where that is that's coming from. What part of your experience informs you about this realm of this energy?
I'm connecting with it now. It's connecting. I'm feeling this light, this like green light energy, and like this almost like there's music that's following me everywhere I go, like a feeling of like twinkling musical sounds and singing at a high pitch sounds, and but like very healing, not annoying like you would think a high pitch noise could be. It's like a very soothing high pitch that's piercing through like a deep level of feeling in your body and in your heart, and it feels really good to hear that. I don't think everyone else can hear it. I hear this tone, though, and through that tone I feel like I receive the messages of like what I'm supposed to be making for certain people, and what directions I follow to make certain things at certain times, and what I need to give myself to feel my best.
What does it feel like? How did you find out about this technique or this connection? Was it always there? Did somebody taught you? See what that was.
Yeah, it feels like it was passed down to me from my mother, from my family, and the women in my family, who I'm close to still, and they're part of what I'm doing, and that's been passed down through my family for a long time. This tradition and the way of connecting with sound and singing, and I use my voice to sing and like translate the tone that I receive into all the things that I'm making, all the many things I make, even making food, and creating anything, I'll sing while I'm doing it to put that healing in, the sound is healing in it.
What does it look like when you have a meal? See yourself having a meal, if that's what you do. What does that look like?
I see drinking a lot of different tea, different teas, and drinking a lot of different teas with maybe things I find from around the land, and a lot of I see like a big it looks like bread. It's like a big bread with like raisins in it or something. Looks like a big, like really big, like the size of your face, big slice of a bread type thing that has like little things in it, like a raisin, but not. And this is a really healthy. Is there anything else that I eat? It feels like that's the only thing I need because it has everything that I need in it. This thing that I have, it's not bread, but it's another type of
food
thing that I made. Yeah.
See how you acquire that food. Where does it come from?
I make it.
You make it.
Yeah.
And where do you find yourself when you make it?
I'm in my home making it. All the different things that I found, and it's a very old recipe that I learned when I was younger.
And what kind of part of the house do you make this bread type thing in, and what do you use? What is involved with making this?
In the kitchen, it's sort of feel like I keep wanting to find the time frame, and I don't know. It doesn't feel like it is any time frame. It doesn't feel. It's a kitchen, and it feels, but it's very old. It's not modern. It's like there's a fire and a pot and a big, like a cauldron, like a witch's cauldron, and a fire, and a very simple area for preparing everything. And I have all my materials laid out, and I just put everything in the pot, and it somehow creates this structure. It's like actually, it doesn't feel like I created with like baking process. It's just made from energy. It's made from this pot. I'm putting everything in, and none of the things I put in are things that you would think make this matter, make this substance, but it turns out to be the substance.
See yourself in that process when it's happening. What parts of your body or of your experience are activated, are most active when you do that?
My teeth hurt. My teeth hurt. I feel pain. They don't hurt. They feel like my upper body, my teeth. And that was the first thing. My mouth feels like really interesting. It's like I'm tasting the flavor of it before I eat it. Like I'm feeling what that feels like to have it before I have it, and I'm feeling that whole experience. And my hands are very energized as I'm preparing all the things and creating it, and yeah, my hands feel a lot of, like there's a lot of energy in them going into this.
As you're making this bread.
Yeah.
That sounds good. Is there anybody or anything that you love in your life?
Looks like there's someone in the area. Someone in the area that I am interested in knowing more. Is there anyone that I love?
Is there anything like that in your life? Is there a male or a female or some other type of being? Is there anyone in your life that you love? If so, see them right now. What do they look like?
Yeah, my mom. My mom is there, and she lives nearby,
Mm-hmm.
and she's like the primary person in my life who I love and learn from and teach. She's like a teacher for me and a guide, and is a really important part of my life. And she is older, and she'll come to live with me probably soon when she needs to. And she is like this. She's just an amazing person and so wise and so wise. And transmits a lot of her wisdom to me. And she's very magical. Feels like we're magical. We're like witches, or we're basically witches, and we are these like healers in this part of the world that we're in,
And is the other people in your community, are they similar or with different traits?
Yeah,
or
it's not that we're so different. It feels like everyone kind of is. It's not like we're different. People are generally more magical, or tuned in with magic and tuned in with the different subtle energies available to us, and people have different expressions of that. And it feels like my expression is working with land and elements. And that was my family's tradition that we bring forth and continue sharing. And I see myself teaching other people about this. And it feels like very old wisdom. Not ours though, not from our. Feels like there's a connection from like the ancient native, what we think are native people of that land. And then somehow maybe my mother, her grandmother, the women learned these traditions somehow, and we're passing them down.
Are you aware of any other people in your environment that might not think along the same lines, that do not have the same knowledge, and have a very different way of being?
I'm not aware of them. Here, we're in a safe place.
Okay, good. All right, very, very good. Now, leave that scene, and let's move forward to an important day. A day when something is happening that you consider to be important, whatever that is, an important day. I'm going to count to 3, and on the count of 3, you will be at an important day. 1, 2, 3. What's happening now? What are you aware of now?
Friends, I've been back on the corner in San Francisco. I think waiting for the bus to go to school. And I'm in 6th grade, and it's the first day that I'm going. Just feels like one of the close to first days I'm going to middle school, and I'm waiting for the bus, and I'm at the bus stop in front of the cafe, and I'm very self-conscious about my body because I feel very uncomfortable in how thin I am. I'm so tall and thin, and I feel I'm wearing a skirt, and I feel like my legs look like toothpicks, and I feel very uncomfortable, and I notice all the cars driving by, and I feel like everyone's looking at me for longer periods. I feel like every car is going by me in slow motion to look me up and down and criticize. Like they're criticizing how weird I look.
What are you wearing right now?
A jean skirt, and my shoes also feel too big. They're just my size. They fit me. They just look really big to me. And they're big white sneakers, and then jean skirt and a pink shirt and a big backpack, which I also feels like too big for my body.
What's your hair doing?
And my hair is down, just long, and parted in the middle down on the other side.
And are you here by yourself or with somebody else?
I'm by myself.
This is your first day at middle school?
Yeah, it feels like it's close to the first day. It wasn't the first, it's not quite the exact first day, but it's close to that time. And I just feel so nervous, and I feel so awkward. I feel so vulnerable. I feel like everyone's looking at me.
Right. Where do you feel that awkwardness the most in your body?
My stomach.
All right. Have you talked about to your mom about this, or your dad? Have you asked about how?
No.
No. So how do you feel about being in school?
I feel afraid that I don't have the right friends and that I've made friends with someone that's not a real friend. But it's better than being alone. And I feel afraid that I can't trust people. I can't trust this friend. I feel really worried that I missed my chance to make friends with the right people. I feel worried that I can't make it better. I feel like I can't make it right. I feel worried that everybody doesn't like me. And that I wish I didn't have to go
to school.
Yeah.
All right, fast forward, condensed time to where the bus is now arriving. The bus is now arriving. What do you do?
Well, I get on and I just feel like I can be more at peace once I'm in my seat alone. I'm looking at the window and I'm just watching San Francisco go by out the window, and can breathe a little bit easier.
Because you have the feeling that not as many people are.
No one's looking at me anymore.
You're not on display.
Yeah.
All right, then leave that scene. Leave that scene. You can move forward or backward, doesn't matter, through time and through space. Moving through time and through space. Looking for the next important scene. A scene that has meaning for you, whatever that is. It doesn't have to be clear. Whatever that is, the next important scene. I'm going to count to 3 and you'll be at the next important scene. 1, 2, 3. What's happening now?
I'm a man and I'm in a different time where I want to be in this life where I'm powerful and I'm a leader and I'm taking care of all these people and helping them, and I'm so beautiful and radiant,
And you're a man while you're doing this?
Yes.
What do you look like?
I'm very tall and strong and radiant, and I have longer hair, long light hair, and very long features, and really long fingers, long nose, like just long is the feeling of everything. And
hold up your hands and turn them over a few times so you can see both sides. What do your hands look like?
They look very long, slender, light skin, but healthy, very healthy, vibrant skin tone, very full of life. And yeah, like a deep vibrance. And
what are you wearing?
I'm wearing white and light blue colored fabric that feels really soft and silky, like it's silk almost. Smooth.
What kind of
loose.
Are you wearing pants, or what is it like?
Loose, like a robe. Like a loose robe. Very light, almost like I'm not wearing anything at all. It feels like could be wearing nothing, but it's loose fabric that is very smooth and soft and really beautiful looking, like it reflects a lot of light.
Are you wearing any jewelry on your body?
Yeah, when I looked at my hands, I saw that I had a ring, a big ring, and the ring almost like disproportionately big because of how thin my hands are.
Mm-hmm.
And the ring is a big crystal, and it is wrapped in like a golden, but not gold, like but kind of like a golden light, different metal, like a different type of metal that's many different colors and has a golden light, and it's wrapping this big crystal on my middle finger on my left hand, and this is a very important piece that I use as a container for messages, and I use it for messages, to hold messages, and to communicate messages. And I also have a pendant around my neck that you think would feel very heavy, but it feels weightless. Everything feels like it would look heavy, but it's weightless. And this pendant is, again, the same kind of metal that's multicolored, but with a golden light, and reminds me of that watery, translucent structure that I had when I was exploring that portal area with the columns. It's similar reminiscence of that. And then...
What is that pendant for? If you were to ask it what it's for.
I'm just very traveling.
Traveling.
For traveling through time and through space. Traveling, using it as a tool.
Does it feel like you use it a lot or sparingly or what?
I think I have it with me because it's something that helps me, because I'm traveling a lot in this time. I travel a lot, and this pendant is there to help me. I don't use it for traveling. It's there to support me because I am traveling often, and it's there helping me to be clear, to feel very clear even if I'm moving around a lot, to feel very grounded, to feel centered in myself. And this pendant is it's another crystal that's very old, and it's from inside of a structure that's very sacred that I get to take with me wherever I go, and just really connect with the energy of the sacred space that helps me feel very centered and very rooted and down no matter where I am. And traveling often,
what does that look like when you travel?
It feels like I'm flying places, like I don't know if I'm physically traveling to other locations, or if I'm flying in between places, or even if I'm just going in my mind, or going in energy. Energetically.
I see.
Astral, like an astral traveling. I'm doing a lot of, it feels like I'm moving. Where am I? I'm in a space, I'm in a physical place, and I have these things, and I have material things, and I'm doing a lot of traveling though, energetically to other places, intentionally, and I know that I'm doing this. That's part of what I do. It's like I'm moving around a lot. I'm doing different work or service within different spaces and like with different people, different energies.
What does your physical space look like that you're in?
I feel like I'm in. I have like a big space that feels like a almost like a big castle.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm in a big stone. Yeah, it feels like very old stone or similar structure, building structure that's massive.
Mm-hmm.
And there's other people there too that work with me or work for me that are helping me and feel very supported. I feel like I'm looked to as this, like I'm a royalty or something. I'm an important person in this time where I'm leading. I'm expected to help provide guidance and leadership on important questions that people have about what should be done and how to pursue the right path.
And like what kind of questions are they? More philosophical, spiritual questions, or very physical questions about?
Yeah, both. Like I feel like I'm in the time of like Merlin. And I feel that energy, like I'm there and I'm like a council person involved with him and the work that he was doing and advising all the different kings and royalty and people that were doing different like military operations, and also work with the land and different structuring going on with different governments and like treaties and all sorts of things. And then there's also this mystical work going on in between all of that all of the leaders are aware of too, like with managing the spirit world involvement and all of the different like human world things that are going on and being guided by like higher guidance and these decisions that are going to affect many people. And
does that part feel separate from the human realm, or is it one and the same, or how does that work?
I really like this time because it feels like everyone is aware of it's not so separate. And there's a lot of awareness of just magic and like oracles and like using different tools to be oracle messages, like the crystals that I have and the pendant and different things, like looking into water and seeing messages in water and seeing just having a lot of really spectacular tools available to us because of the collective belief that people really trust in these tools working for us, and can really choose to see answers and guidance that's offered.
What about the landscape that your castle or your place is in? What kind of landscape is it? Is it level? Is it mountainous, hills?
It's green mountains and like big it's like Highland type feeling, like high up in the air, like high up in the mountains, in the clouds, and feels like surrounded also by like very old forest. There's very old forest nearby. That's an important part of the land and the place that I like to go.
Are you aware of any people anywhere that are not as much in alignment with that lack of separation, but they're maybe more into separation than you and the people that you know?
There are people that live in the forest that don't want to be part of the more, let's say, like civilized world, or the people that are doing more of the other like political or militaristic work. They feel separate. There's a difference in perception, like how they understand the world. And there's a part of me that feels I'm in conflict with that. I feel like I'm part of both, and I want to have people live in harmony and be integrated and support all the different ways of being. And yet I'm in this position where I'm feeling like part of me is indebted to help a certain interest with my abilities and my guidance, and part of this council that I'm in, it's like I feel like I have to there's pressure on me or an obligation of which I have to help the leaders, I have to help the king, and like more of the status, have to help uphold more of the like status quo, maybe we would say, but it doesn't fully resonate with me.
See how it is that you connect with Merlin, that energy. How do you connect with that?
Well, he's my teacher and I love him so much, and I'm learning from him, and I'm there to help him. So part of me sets aside the judgment about how our work is supporting these other interests that don't really resonate with me, because I'm more invested in learning and helping him.
Where are you when you're connecting with Merlin?
We're in the castle together, and we're in the space, we're in like a whole, like a lair, like a whole area, and we also spend time going into the forest and going into nature together to do different, to just do different parts of our work, which involves summoning different energies and doing different like alchemy and using the like properties of the land to do more different healing and invocations.
What does he look like?
He looks like he's older than me, and he doesn't have long hair, like looks like a wizard or something. He just has like kind of has a darker face actually than I would have thought. Like he's darker features, like darker, like dark eyes and darker skin, and like he's like kind of just darker complexion than other people, and has he's tall and kind of like me, has like really thin features, but is like dark complexion than me, and feels very old, and the physical body isn't super old, isn't very, very old.
Can you ask him a question?
Yeah.
Why can you please ask him if we can ask him some questions?
Yeah. Yes, you can ask him questions.
Alright, thank you for being here and your willingness to answer some questions. So, what is your purpose for being on the planet?
What is Merlin's purpose or my purpose?
I'm asking Merlin, yeah.
What is Merlin's purpose for being on the planet? What is your purpose for being on the planet? Here to be a healer and a guide into the unseen, into the magic that's all around us every day, and everything that we are and all that we're accessing, especially in the elements of nature, and in the unseen energies that surround us, and the elements and the different, here to help activate people's remembrance of these different powers that we all have.
And are you old or young at this time?
Not middle of life.
Middle life. Do you have the same lifespan as the other people around you?
I live for hundreds of years, centuries.
Is it the same as everybody else around you?
I live to be older than everyone else. Other people live longer lifetimes, but they don't live as old as me.
And what makes you live longer? What's going on with you that makes you live longer?
I conserve my energy.
You conserve your energy. And how do you do that?
I don't drain energy through using the emotions that other people use. I don't use low energy.
Are you saying you have your circuitry is different from other people? Is that what it is? Or is it a good way to describe it?
I don't tune in with the energy that most people are attuned to. I have a higher frequency energy that is more clear and nourishing, and I can thrive in that more than anybody else can. Not everyone has access to this.
All right. So are you aware of the way that I'm talking to you right now?
Yes.
So from the human perspective, I'm in a different time frame than where you are. So do you still find that the knowledge or the imprint that you had on consciousness on the planet, is that still present in human consciousness or on the planet at this time that I'm speaking from?
Yes.
And how is that preserved? How did that get brought forward into time, or how is it still present in people right now?
It's always been here.
It's always been here.
It's never not here.
Is there a certain part of a human experience where that your energy is located, or where that's being kept or saved, or what?
Certain beings at all times have always had access to this energy and this way of being that allows for longer lifetimes, it's like longer expenditure, longer exposure. And we don't know about these people necessarily because there's a reason we haven't known about them. Because this is available to many more people, but if many more people had access to this wisdom, this would be different.
And the reason that there's no access is what?
It would be dangerous to the dominant energy that is most prevalent now on the planet.
Is that different from your time?
Yes.
From your perspective, Merlin, what is the origin or the nature of the energy that is present on the planet at the time and place that I'm speaking from?
Can you ask that again?
Merlin, from your perspective, what is the origin or the nature of the energy that does not allow access in the time frame that I'm speaking from?
There's the mass collective energy can't acclimate to that frequency yet. Certain people are able to start tuning in with that. Some people are starting to receive that. But most people can't. Most people wouldn't be able to acclimate to that. Although they have access, they wouldn't be able to acclimate because it would be too overwhelming for them. It would be too much of a contrast. It would be too much of a shake up, a shift. Too much of a break.
So there's no blocking access. It's just that people have lost the connection to embody it, to have access to it.
Yeah, people are in their mind so much, and in their very old, animalistic, survivalist ways of being, and few people are fully free of that.
So Merlin, are you in a physical body on the planet at this time that I'm speaking from? Do you have access to that?
I come in and I visit occasionally through people that are open to receiving me, and I speak through different people at different times. But I'm not in a physical body, nor will I be ever again.
Oh, I see. All right. What about the person that we're speaking through right now? Do you have any connection to her at all?
Yes, we've spent time together before in other lifetimes, which she was alluding to just before. And other lifetimes as well, in other spaces and other realms, we've spent time together.
And what is the nature of your spending time together? What's the purpose, the point of it?
We've both been teachers, and I've been a teacher particularly, but we're both teachers, and we've both been sharing similar frequencies through our different paths, although we've shared some of the similar paths as being teachers together.
So this space and the time that you're speaking from right now, where you're teachers together or you're working together,
yes.
Is that on Earth or a different place, or where is that?
Yes, you're on Earth. Older time, much older time.
Much older time. Is it, from my perspective, in recorded history, or is it outside of that?
It's before, it doesn't exist in recorded history, because the history has been destroyed for many reasons, and it's in a time that most people wouldn't believe ever existed, because the timeline of human history is very short, according to what most believe, and it's in fact not true, because we've actually had such a longer history, and the timeline that we were cooperating in this castle, in this space, during this time where there's more connection with elemental energy and nature and all these different integrations that were just a part of life, was here on Earth, and it was physical incarnations as not the type of humans that we would know now, but like a different version of humans that felt more connected to the like etheric plane and had greater access to feeling and sensory perception, and greater capacity to be attuned with nature and with different elemental forces. And this was many, many lifetimes ago, thousands. In linear time, it feels like it would be 50, 60,000 years ago. 50,000 years ago.
So do humans that are alive today, in my time frame, is there a name for the realm that you speak of, that you're in? Do we have a name for that?
It may have been referred to over the years as Avalon, or something to that effect, but there's a different name for it at that time. There's a different name that we don't know of in English. It was a different language being used, communicating at that time. There's a different language that felt like it was more communication through feeling and through still language, like spoken language using sound, but a different, more concise language without so many words and titles for things.
Is it a realm that people refer to now as Mu or Lemuria? Is that similar? Is that something different?
Yeah, it's part of Lemuria, but it's not the physical. Yes, is connected to Lemuria and
All right.
ancient civilization, but it's not it. It doesn't feel like the same.
Do you have access to information about Sydney's current lifetime?
Yes. Yes.
Why did she come to the planet at this time? What is her purpose?
To do the same work that we've been doing, to do. It's not so different from what she was just describing in one iteration of our work together, in advising and just Sydney's purpose on earth in this lifetime. To be a teacher, and to be an advisor, to specifically help people. It's important to distinguish that in the teaching, that it's not about teaching people something that they don't already know. It's about helping people learn how to help themselves better navigate what they truly want.
Is Sydney aware of that?
Yes.
Okay, good. Is there anything that you have to tell her? Is there any messages that you have for her? Something that she's not been aware of, or that it'd be good to focus on? Is there anything here for her?
That she can work with me more directly as a guide, and that I'm one of her guides, and I'm very clearly here and present in her life, and she already knows this, and that you know how to contact me and use me, and to be more vocal about communicating with me, and to ask me direct guidance and come to me for counsel and all the questions that arise, and that you will hear more visibly, you'll hear clear. You've heard my voice before, and you hear my voice, and you can trust that this is real.
Thank you for that. Can you scan her physical body and let me know if there's any areas of her body that need any healing, any help?
Yes.
What parts?
I'm sensing tension in her calf muscles, deep inside the interior of her calves, connecting also to her shoulders. And this tension, this energetic, spiritual tension of trust.
What needs to be done with that?
Surrendering and trusting. Trusting the guidance that's received, just fully trusting that and feeling safe and held and supported, and allowing yourself to feel supported.
Is there anything that you can do for her today to help heal that, or clear that, or soften it, or anything at all that you can do for her today?
Yes, I can help clear this.
Great. And please do so now. Please help her clear this from her tissues, from her body, on all levels affecting her, from the very physical down to the DNA, the molecules, and the atoms, all the way up into the more subtle dimensions of her being, clearing, releasing, letting go, calibrating whatever is needed, whatever is being cleared, taking it up into the highest realms of light, sound, and love, where it can be transmuted and used in service, replacing what has been released with the highest frequencies of light, sound, and love, facilitating an unrestricted expression of her soul's divine journey, her soul's divine purpose on the planet, through her beautiful healthy body, through her beautiful life. That or something better, for the highest good of Sydney. And let me know when that's complete, please. Wonderful. Thank you very much. Can you give her another scan and include the non-physical aspect of her non-physical anatomy? Is there anything there that needs to be cleared or changed or released or calibrated?
Yes, her belief in herself and her confidence in her power and her confidence in her abilities, her confidence in her own heart.
And what can you do with that today?
I can help to restore confidence and the self-assurance that she's seeking in this higher consciousness level, to just know that she can fully trust her own heart and to trust the guidance that comes through her heart as the complete truth, and that she has full confidence and trust in her ability to discern that truth.
Wonderful. And what part of her body would you access or would you heal or clear?
It feels generally the energy around upper body, the heart and the head, the back of her head, specifically the back of her spine.
The occiput, the occipital point.
Yeah.
All right. Then please do so now, and thank you for that. Thank you for helping her with that. Releasing and clearing whatever needs to be healed or cleared or released from all levels affecting her, from the very physical down to the DNA, the molecules and the atoms. Clearing, releasing, healing. And let me know when that's complete too. Wonderful. Thank you very much. Is there anything else that you would like to address, or anything else that you want to be made known?
Yes, that Sydney has permission to work with me as a guide, as a conduit for this specific healing energy that I have available to work through her in different capacities where she feels that I can be useful.
In what setting? How does she understand that? What setting is that?
In the work that she's doing, and to summon, to have permission to use this, to invoke, there's permission to invoke this specific healing energy of, and it's called Merlin's light, Merlin's light. What's it called? Something else, Merlin's light.
Merlin's light. Is there a vibration or a color to it?
It's green. And it's very heart-centered energy that helps to heal. It's energy healing that Sydney has permission to invoke in her work, in her sessions with individuals, and potentially in groups settings that this can be invoked for group energy healing, and that this can be invoked for other people in this field to connect to and to receive and to work with as their own energy healing.
And how would they do that? Like, how would we do that? We just call it by its name, or think of you, Merlin, or how do we do that?
Yeah, tuning in with your own heart and then summoning in an invocation to work with this energy, to let it be activated to conduct healing very much in the way that you just directed.
And what does that do? What does that energy do for people?
It's transmutation energy to help transmute any lower vibrations or vibrations of pain or anxiety, fear, lower consciousness emotions that would be trapped in the body, and helps to transmute those, release those stagnant energies from the body to make more space for heart, love-centered energy to flow and be fully embodied.
Beautiful. That's gorgeous. Huh. All right, well, thank you for that. Do you need to make any adjustments to her circuitry for her to more fully embody this energy? Or I don't know if it works like that. Or create any openings or connections to the energy?
She has the full connection to the energy.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much for all of your help and all of your healing. This is wonderful. I really, really appreciate it. And yeah, please help as many people as you can for this energy to become more present on the planet, to heal as many parts of our existence as you can. Really appreciate it.
Yes, you're welcome.
All right. Now let's drift away from that life. We're drifting and floating away from that life, leaving the man there to continue on his own journey. He will find peace. He will find what he's supposed to find. We're leaving him there, and also the woman that we've looked at, to continue on their own journeys. They will all find peace. They will find what they're supposed to find. We're leaving them all there to continue on their own path. Now I want all of the consciousness and personality of Sydney to once again return to the body and fully integrate back into the body. May I speak to Sydney's subconscious, please?
Yes.
Thank you. I have permission to speak to Sydney's subconscious.
Yes.
I appreciate it. So I respect the power of the subconscious, because I know the subconscious takes care of Sydney's body and does a very good job of it. I also know that the subconscious has the records of everything that has ever happened to Sydney in this lifetime and all the other lifetimes that she's ever lived. So I respect the power of the subconscious. And I always ask for permission to speak to it and ask questions. Do I have permission to ask questions?
Yes.
Thank you. I know the subconscious could have brought forth many different lifetimes for Sydney to see today. Starting with the lifetime or the scene that you started with, where she was a metallic sort of fluid being, that's sort of a launching pad in order to go into different experiences, and she described going to Earth. And she ended up in the life of a woman in a place that looked like New Zealand. Why did you give her that experience? What was the purpose of it?
See that you're a healer, and that you've been a healer and a medicine woman and a mystical fairy communicator for many lifetimes, and that was a specific one, and that she carried such a lightness within that sense of responsibility that can sometimes crowd out the lightness.
And that is then, or is that now?
Now there can be a sense of over-responsibility in this call to be a healer and a guide in the way that this lifetime, this woman in the prior lifetime was, but that it was important to see this, the lightness and the joy and the fun, and how beautiful it was. The woman was so struck with the beauty of where she lived and the beauty and simplicity of it all. And that's so important to carry. That's part of the essence that you're wanting to embody.
And so for Sydney, for you to give her that experience, what is she walking away with from that experience? How is it adding to her experience?
She will know now that her essence is to be in this beauty, and to be in luxury, like a feeling of like the luxury at just being in the beauty of nature, and this feeling of joy and lightness and fun and experimentation, making things, even if the things that she's making are helping people, it's for fun, because she loves to, because it's beautiful, and it's joyful, and it's like very meaningful, because this has been her purpose for many lifetimes and has been passed down through different family relationships and spirit relationships, and there's so much wisdom, and it can feel like a big responsibility, but it's inherently intended to be harnessed with lightness and love and really just joy.
Are there any parts of her life that are against going into that flow that she's doing right now, or that are present?
There's a sense of over-responsibility with many things that are being done because she thinks she has to do them, and thinks that she has to save people, or thinks that she has to give people what she knows they need, instead of helping them determine what it is that they want. Her essence is to help people teach people how to better discern what it is that they want, because they know how to give themselves what they want. That's what people really desire. That's Sydney's essence, is to help teach that, not to project what she thinks she knows people need, and then give them that. That's disempowering.
Okay, that's good to know. Is there anything in terms of practicalness, the things that she's doing with her life right now, any aspect of it that would be changed because of this information, or that need to be changed?
The way that you're conducting the program that you're launching is not, the way you're speaking about it is not congruent with what you actually desire to create. The way you're speaking about it is projecting I have what you need, and this is what you need, and you don't even know what you need, but you need this. And it's disempowering people from making the choice to join in what Sydney really wants, is her essence to be embodied, and to invite people into their similar essence, which is joy, joyfulness, and lightness, and to instead invite them to have this experience that can feel more light and can be very deep and transformative and healing, but is so deep and transformative and healing because of its lightness in nature. There's not so much pressure in it, and so the way that she communicates about it needs to be lighter and less of there's such a strong attachment also to this being some particular big outcome. There's the ego attachment to it needing to be important, and to have certain people feel like it matters and it's respected, and it's distracting from the actual desire, which is to just offer a beautiful space for lightness and joy to be shared, while also transformative, transmutational healing is available. And that's just a natural occurrence of gathering in a space of joy.
And is knowing this information, is that enough for her to rewrite or to refocus, to redirect?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you for that. What is her sole purpose on this planet in this lifetime? What is she here to do? What is she bringing to the planet? What is her life? Authenticity. And what are her ways of embodying this, or what are the vehicles?
Divinity, bringing through divinity. There's many words to describe that. Authenticity is one. Uniqueness, freedom, love, all of these different values, universal values, and really she's here to show as an example what is possible when you choose to follow exactly what you desire in every moment, devoid of any judgment, projection, or egoic drive that would have you do anything different. Just to really listen to that pure essence that's guiding the desires in the first place, and to trust that those are always exactly what is meant to materialize. And she is working through letting go of these projections. There's no need to uphold these projections. There's nobody to save. There's no one to make understand what they're not ready to understand.
Is there anything that you can do for her today to clear out some of those projections, or all of them, or as much as possible? Is there anything that you can do to have her move forward in her path?
You're free to do exactly what you want and to be exactly who you want to be. You're not responsible for anyone else but yourself. You're not responsible for anyone else but yourself. You're not responsible for anyone else but yourself. Your mission is to listen to yourself, to honor yourself, to love yourself, and to love others just as they are. That's what you truly want, to love others just as they truly are. And loving them, you love yourself. That's actually the way that you love yourself, is by loving others. Anytime that you're not loving others, you're not loving yourself.
Is there any risk of confusion for her to start loving and caretaking for others and then bypassing taking care of herself? Since she told me that was part of her history.
No, she's ready to love others. She wants to love others truly and freely, because she knows that any disease or resistance she has in her life is simply a result of not loving others in the way that she's truly wanting to love them and accept them and see them as part of her.
Mm-hmm. Are there any specific aspects to her personality or her beingness that she hasn't completely loved into wholeness, or doesn't completely trust yet, that she could be made aware of today? Parts that are being shown. Mm-hmm.
And there's attachment to these parts. There's like attachments to them still not being loved into wholeness.
Mm-hmm. What is needed for Sydney? Is that a process? Is there any clearing that can be happening today? Is there anything that she needs to know about them? What is the next step for her?
Practice. Keep practicing and keep using your own ability to heal. Oh. She can stop trying to go about healing these things through thinking and through figuring out stories and going about things in this very slow process, when she knows that she has access to accelerated, amplified energy in so many levels that can help her move these energies out that are wanting to be released, and integrate more of her true essence into her present embodiment, and exude this full light that she's called to bring forth.
And so how does she do that? If she hasn't been doing that, how does she do that?
meditating and summoning in the healing energy of her guides and multidimensional support in Merlin, for example, and all of the different guidance that supports her, helping, really invoking with clarity and clear direction, precisely directing what it is that she wants removed and shifted and what she wants supported and integrating. That will happen on a daily basis, at least, if not more.
And so she has all the knowledge and the capacity to do this?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. What about the part of that life that you showed her where before she went into the life as the healer woman, where she was a metallic kind of essence coming out of a white light? Why did you show her that part?
To show that, I don't know. I don't remember.
So I'm asking the part that knows. I'm asking the part that knows the very first scene that you showed her where she was surrounded by columns, by pillars. She was...
Why was that shown?
Why did you show that to her?
To have the experience of feeling formless and feeling how it feels to have everything around you be a subsequent just iteration of your own consciousness that you experienced more through feeling rather than anything that was described. And feeling what it feels like to create what you're seeing based on what you're feeling, and to really see that that is your essence as well. It's like where you have originated from is obviously pure consciousness, but to really have that embodied feeling of what it's like to see how the world around you shifts, even something as strong and dense and allegedly structured as these massive columns and marble floor, how everything shifted just based on your own perception, based on your point of reference, because you're that powerful. And it's important for you to understand that that's exactly what you are now, doing the same thing in your life, that you're just this point of reference that is creating everything that you're experiencing in every level.
Okay, that's good to know. Is there anything else that needs to be cleared or healed as a result of that, or that?
Yes.
What is that?
Sydney's ability to feel fully confident in creating that which she desires and really owning her desire more fully, like dreaming. She'll be able to see what is now more possible for her that maybe felt more insurmountable prior. Things will feel easier.
Okay, wonderful. And you've already done that, or is it still needing to be done?
Done. And the feeling of that experience, it was done and integrated.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Wonderful. What about the scene that you showed her where she was in 6th grade and she felt very, very awkward waiting for the bus? She felt like everybody was looking at her and judging her, and she felt so awkward with her body. Why did you show her that scene?
It's important to remember that moment because it was such a long moment over many years in which sensitivity, which is such a gift, this sensitive, empathetic, empathic, intuitive awareness, hypersensitive awareness, in which, before it was cultivated and integrated when it was in a more immature state with all the different conditioning involved, felt so powerful that it literally felt like she was able to slow down time so that cars were slowing down and she could focus on people looking at her. And again, just another example of the power of her perception to create her physical reality. And that because she was focusing so much on her body and that she was really the center point of awareness, everything seemed completely amplified. And that the whole world worked through this filter that supported that perspective. And it's important for her to remember that just as another example of her powerful perception and what she was creating, and that Also important to signal to her, inherent in that message, is a reminder about her physical body being temporary, and that at one point it maybe looked that way to her, but it changes and will change and will keep changing, and it's part of this experience, and to not get so attached with how it looks, but to be focused more on how it feels. And that for her it's most important to focus on feeling in her most optimal energetic state, and that naturally is transmitted through physical.
And so this is the knowledge that she's taking away from this experience.
Also to enjoy, this message would be to enjoy being in the body more, and to celebrate being in the body, to celebrate and to be in enjoyment of all of what the body makes possible and available, and to take care of the body.
Are there any go ahead. Are there any ways that she's not aware of in which she could celebrate the body more? Some things or some actions or some settings that would...
more body work and massages and more physical touch with like healing intention of like massaging energy and moving, helping to ease muscle tension is really important for her to feel clear in her energy and clear in her ability to channel, and just to be in a really deep state of relaxation as often as possible. That's where she thrives.
So for her to be a channel, how does that factor into her life purpose of teaching others about authenticity and essence? How does channeling factor into that?
She's channeling all the time already, and more is opening up to her as she continues to practice, and as she continues to trust herself more fully, and trust her abilities, trust her power, trust her truth essentially, and trust the unfiltered truth to come through her without judgment. And as she continues leaning into that trust, she will be not so much surprised, but grateful to receive the communication that's wanting to be expressed through her.
She wanted to figure out if there's any specific entities or beings or energies that are coming through her, or that are meant to be coming through her. We've already learned about Merlin.
Yes, there are many different entities and beings that work through her, and it's not always so important that they're given a name. Not all of them have a name, because where they exist, there are no names. And it's important for her to know that also many of these energies are also just other iterations of her consciousness, so they are in fact her, and that it doesn't matter if they're given a name for anyone else to feel more validated in what they're receiving or whatnot, and that if it's important for Sydney to understand that it's not her job to feel responsible to give anything a name or a category ever again, that the energy that's coming through isn't always even accurately translated with words. It's a pure vibration and an energy that's felt, and it may not always make sense, not even to her or to the person receiving it, but she's called to trust that whatever's coming through is meant to come through in that perfect way, in that perfect time, and to not be confused with limiting herself to a label unless it's abundantly clear that that's in service to do so.
I see. That is very clear. Thank you for clarifying that. What about the other life that you showed her, where she was a man and he seemed to be healing or teaching in his castle-like environment, was wearing a ring with a crystal and a pendant, and was in close contact with Merlin? Why did you show her that lifetime?
There is a connection here with other lifetimes that we didn't go into in this time, but there is a connection to Lemuria and to Atlantis and to some of these other ancient civilizations, and this was another ancient civilization that was important for her to see, because she's been a part of all of these different worlds and many different iterations, and that it's just important now, especially now, for her to fully integrate this wisdom that's been garnered over all of these lifetimes, all of these experiences, because she can judge herself at times for not take her wisdom seriously because of the projection of age or whatever she may think other people may be thinking about her, all of those distractions. It's important in this moment, in order for Sydney to feel fulfilled in her service and embodied in her essence, that she take all of the wisdom of all of these lifetimes and all of these civilizations, all of this magic that she fully integrated in this moment, and take it seriously, while also, not taking herself so seriously, but the wisdom is meant to be held with reverence, that not everyone has access to this wisdom, and that it's very sacred and is meant to be treated with reverence, and that she is meant to treat herself with great reverence for carrying this wisdom.
So besides her ability to trust herself, is there any other circuitry that can be opened, or any downloads or access that can be given to Sydney to have more access to that magic, to that energy?
Yes, she has a black energy wanting to move, that's wanting to move for quite a while, in her root and sacral chakras, that are preventing the full flow of this energy to be in clear receptivity.
And what's the reason that these blocks are there? Do we need to know about that?
Connection to family and feeling fear of its abandonment, and fear of fully letting go of any responsibility to take care of anyone else, to take care of parents, to take care of anyone else in her life.
And instead, so there would be an old projection that if she were in full receptivity to her power and embodied wisdom, that her family would feel threatened by this, because she would be more independent, sovereign, and free, and her parents wouldn't feel like they have so much of a purpose in worrying about her or taking care of her, and that Sydney wouldn't feel as much of a connection or dependency on taking care of her parents and worrying about them, or having that whole dynamic have to play out. And so in letting this go and clearing this energy to let this really flow and to be fully receptive of this wisdom, to become integrated and embodied, instead there is a detachment required from this family attachment. May this be clear, may this energy be allowed to flow freely, may this channel and receptivity be allowed to open fully and to become fully integrated in all aspects of Sydney's being. We should be allowed to be completely open and receptive to all of this knowledge and wisdom throughout all lifetimes. Can it be done today?
And done in this moment, and it's now fully open, receptive, and clear.
Wonderful. Does she need any any information about how it's going to inform her relationship with her parents, or?
It's done. They feel this detachment. Her mom already was feeling this worry. Her mom's already been having dreams of Sydney dying, because at some level the old image of Sydney has died, but she's no longer here. That old identity is no longer needed to survive. So there's an aspect of loss having happened that both of her parents, as well as some of her past relationships, feel in this moment. And it's been building over the past week already. This was already planned to happen, and they've been feeling the message of that loss, and it has happened. It's done, and it will be integrated in that. This is all for the highest good of all involved and the empowerment of all involved, that as one being becomes more sovereign and free in their own power, so shall everyone else connected to them.
How is that going to influence or inform her relationship with Joe?
She may feel less of an attraction to him. She may feel less of a physical attraction to him, because what used to be a motivation of their attraction, this energetic attraction, is gone. This feeling of it's complex maybe, but the feeling of initial resonance, which was really connected to feeling safe and taken care of, and like really safe, feeling so safe. There's less of a need to feel safe. So there may be a shift in that resonance.
Is there any scripting or any decree about that relationship, where it needs to go? Does she need to worry about, or does she need to think about splitting up or staying together? Is there anything that needs to be known about that?
No, it's all planned perfectly. She will be honest about her feelings and her needs and desires, and there's no false projections present in that relationship.
And she'll be able to communicate with him, and sort of for both of them to be very, very clear about who they are.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Has she been with him in different lifetimes? Have they been together in one form or another?
Yes. I'm seeing a lifetime in which they were together in human form, in a different gender dynamic, in which Sydney was the masculine and he was the feminine, and in a very old, like tribal time, and they were both like kind of like the wise men, wise woman leadership of the. Sydney was like the chief of the tribe, and he was his wife, partner, one of his wives, like the favorite wife. And it's funny because we can see that dynamic now. And
what are they learning from each other in this current incarnation? What is their dance about when they're together? What's the purpose of them to be together?
To learn independence, to learn interdependence.
To learn independence and interdependence.
Yes.
Is that clear enough for her to understand what that grips hold of?
To heal dependency. To be in interdependence, which is freedom, which is sharing.
Not codependence.
Yes.
And how is she doing with that?
She's completed many lessons in this, and is at a culmination point of so many lessons integrating from this relationship.
Beautiful. And they will figure out together what's the next step, or how it's going to be shaped.
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. What about, does she have any challenges with receiving financial abundance at higher levels? Are there any caps to her receiving?
There were, and now much of this, what this question alludes to, has been addressed in the healing that's been conducted.
Okay, good. Is there any remnants that need to be cleared or addressed?
Yes, it was mainly in the connection with her family. And feeling like she needed to maintain a role of some sorts in which they felt like they still had a reason to worry about her, or take care of her, or fulfill their role as parents.
Right. And that can be released today, or does it already?
It's no longer needed, it's gone, it's done.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you so much. Has she spent any physical lifetimes with Jesus and Mary Magdalene?
Yes.
And what kind of way was she with them? What was her?
She was a priestess of Mary Magdalene and was very close and closely involved in work with Mary Magdalene and her support of Jesus' work and mission and service. It was part of that lineage of ancient wisdom that was carried forth from Africa, through Egypt, through India, through all over the world, through the different practices of transmutation and energy work and sexual, work with using sex energy in particular as a means of healing and transmutation. And she was similar to like one of Jesus's disciples. She was a disciple of Mary Magdalene.
Well, Mary Magdalene was in a body, or was she already?
Yes.
She was in a body, okay. Is there anything else that needs to be uncovered regarding that needs to be known today for Sydney?
She knows already that she's here to bring forth that wisdom again through her voice, through her work.
Okay, good. All right. What about her current mom? Has she spent any other lifetimes with her?
She was a child of mine in another lifetime.
What was the purpose for them to be together in this lifetime?
To have the experience of feeling what it feels like to be abandoned, because in a prior lifetime, when she was my child, I had abandoned her as well.
And so how did the abandonment serve Sydney in this lifetime?
To teach her unconditional love for self.
I see. All right. She wants to know what is an appropriate and aligned title for describing her current mission.
Visionary advisor.
What kind of advisor?
A visionary advisor.
Visionary advisor. Okay, beautiful. What is her demographic? Who is she meant to help? And to whom is she meant to speak to?
People that resonate with her vibration.
So they may look and act very different from each other, from different walks of lives.
And they may include very young people, young children.
All right. What is the next step in her development, in her professional development? What is there for her to focus on?
Going to be more in the spaces where more of her people will find her. Like listening, people being more available for the people that are open to resonating with this vibration. Where are they? Where will they be? They are making videos on YouTube and speaking more, doing more of the local speaking and workshops around in person where people can also bring their children.
Beautiful. All right. Does she have people in her network that can help her with that?
Yes.
Okay. Does she know who they are?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, beautiful. What zones of genius and gifts from other lifetimes or from different realms are wanting to be activated now? Is there anything that has been in the pipeline for her that needs to be activated right now, or that needs to be?
Yes.
All right. And what is?
Teacher and being and creating schools, creating. You're already creating programs and creating programs and courses, but I see her speaking at schools, and from that organically being invited to help create programs within schools or creating new schools altogether in which there's instruction, or not even instruction, but space held for younger children to naturally activate their intuitive gifts through natural they're just following their curiosity, just like Sydney conveyed in that lifetime, where she was that energy force that was just following curiosity. But that's something that's very important for her to remember to bring through in her offerings, that she creates that space for people to follow their natural curiosity, because that's what leads very naturally always to
their genius and their gifts.
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. And so for that to be activated within her, is it already done, or can it be done now, or is it a process of things that she needs to be doing, or how does that work?
What is required is for her to speak more openly about this passion and this desire and this curiosity, and the rest is done.
Okay. So that's all it requires?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, thank you. So we've already gotten to know Merlin as one of her spirit guides. Are there any other ones that she can know of today?
Many beings in the fairy realm. Alicia, you know, and Ophelia, and the others that you will get to know. But there are many beings in this realm that have an openness to connect with you, that want to speak through you and speak to you and guide you and support you. That want to be known more in this realm. That want you to help them be more known in this realm and connect with other beings that they're wanting to connect with and reconnect with. And we'll be going to some of the places very soon. We are called to connect with some of these more ancient energies, such as Avalon and some sacred spaces in Ireland and Scotland. And recalling some of the other lifetimes that have been spent in those spaces, and some of the other mystical traditions and guides that are there to remember, and also native spirits, like elementals energy, connecting more with elemental energy that is invoked in a lot of Native American heritage. So the spirits of animals and animal guides, it's very important to tune in with more often. And all of the ascended masters, really all of that energy resonates, all of the different guides. She has access to all of those different energies, and she chooses to tune in with them, and would find it helpful to practice tuning in more consciously with different ascended masters in particular, to practice cultivating that channel more openly.
Does she know how to do that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Oh, that's very good. So besides the one that you showed her, where it was in a lifetime where she held big positions of power and influence as a leader, are there any other lifetimes or lessons herein that are important for her now to recall and to remember and to be integrated?
It's important to summon wisdom from so many of the lifetimes that have been spent in more simplicity. And to access the genius that was present amidst such simplicity, such as living in the land with very few possessions and working with the elements and just really being outside of what we know as civilization, and being very at one with the land and with other people and all living beings. It's very important to summon upon that wisdom of those past life experiences, to summon those.
So you mean the ones that you showed her today?
Yes, and also more of the native and tribal lifetimes that where priorities were very clear, because the priorities then are the same now.
Which are? What are they?
Love and community, and enjoyment, pleasure, gratitude.
All right. I wonder, are there any significant lifetimes that she spent in other star systems or dimensions? Is there anything that can be known about that today?
She was shown that first off.
Is there a name for that realm or that space? Is it something that humans have a word for?
It's a higher dimensional realm, and the spaces that she described were described using third dimensional references for a space that exists outside of that dimension. So they aren't necessarily relevant. The images that were described are not necessarily relevant for that dimension. Transcends any notion of our references for space.
It was translated into human terms, or right.
But she had the feeling of being there, and has that feeling instilled in her. Has always had that feeling, and has that conscious awareness now of that association, and having spent much time there, and it was important for her to feel that excitement and curiosity in selecting a game to play.
Good. Is there anything else she needs to know today about spending time in different star systems, different dimensions, that has not been covered yet?
It was important for her to see that experience too of being spaceless and timeless, and sensing the energy of other beings around, possibly, but not feeling overly concerned about it or attached to it. It was important for her to feel that energy, that in her essence she's independent and sovereign and contained, and that there can be other energies existing around her, but that she's not overly concerned about it or even identifying with it at all. That's something that wants to come through more and more integrated now in this life.
Is it helpful for her to know about how she would be navigating the changes in human consciousness, the changes in Earth that might be happening, if there's such a thing from your perspective?
Yes. It's important for her to know, in the last few days she's received signs about this, that it led up to this moment, that she may feel at a deep level that she feels a responsibility to help bring everyone together up to this next level, or that bring everybody, and that the reality is the vibration she carries when she's in her authentic truth doesn't actually resonate with as many people as she may imagine, but that it does still resonate with many people. And it's important for her to just really feel into, well, dropping out of any concern about quantity is what it is. Drop out of any concern about quantity, meaning anything about effectiveness.
I see. But she will have enough people or enough work around her to be able to live the life that she wants to lead.
Yes. She'll still reach millions of people.
Okay, good.
And most importantly, the focus is staying in her own vibration and feeling her best and transmitting that energy to the people that are most meant to receive it, who are people that will also go forth and influence millions of people. So that's part of this. It's reaching the people that are also reaching millions and billions of people, and supporting those people, not being so self-centered or attached to an individual impact.
Right.
Being at a certain scale. I
see. All right, that's good to know. In terms of her location, does she need to be concerned with moving different places, or is she good in California? Is there anything like that she needs to know about?
She'll follow the call to go to sacred sites over the next few months, including Sedona, possibly somewhere in Asia, and then Bali, and where she'll be at home in Bali.
Okay, good. All right. What was the main reason for her to do this process today?
to receive confirmation to everything that she was already wondering
Mhm.
recently, and to integrate a lot of the work that she's done over the last specifically 3 months to prepare her for this moment, and to be able to receive these messages and these transmissions, and to receive and integrate the healing that has been conducted.
Wonderful. And so has that all happened?
Yes.
Perfect. Is there anything else that you would like for her to know? Is there anything else that needs to be addressed that has not been addressed yet?
No, it's complete.
It's complete. Wonderful. All right. Are there any contracts, agreements, oaths, covenants, or promises that she's entered into in this lifetime or any of the other ones that are of any limiting nature to her today?
Yes.
Do we need to know what that is?
Something about power and feeling the guilt of using power. No, that doesn't feel present anymore.
Does it need to be looked at, or is it gone?
It's like an echo.
It's an echo.
Yeah.
Does that still need to be cleared out in some way or another?
Yes.
All right, then please do so now. Clearing that out as well. Releasing it from all levels where we're still remaining, clearing it out from all levels affecting her. From the very physical down to the DNA, the molecules and the atoms, all the way up into the more subtle dimensions of her experience. Releasing it completely, serving her highest good. Let me know when that's complete.
It's complete.
Wonderful. Are there any spells, hexes, or curses that have been placed against her during this current lifetime or any of the other ones that are of any limiting nature to her today?
No.
Are there any DNA changes needed?
I sense that there are. No, not clear.
Not clear?
Mm.
No clear yes or no, or?
No.
Oh, it's a...
I think no.
think no? All right. All right. Is there anything else that needs to be addressed? What?
I'm asking if there are any DNA upgrades, what that means, and if there are any that I couldn't be supported in receiving. I'm feeling that that happens on its own, that happens naturally, that doesn't need to happen right now.
Okay, I've heard that more often, yeah. All right, is it okay to complete this process?
Yes.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much for all the help and healing that you've been giving her. So now I'm asking your subconscious to recede to where it belongs. With much love and much thanks for the help and information it has been giving Sydney today. I know she's really going to appreciate it. And I want the entities from the other lives that we were speaking with to also recede into the past, to the time where they belong. With much love and much thanks for the information they have given us. And remember, the things you were watching are from the past. They belong in the past, and we will leave them in the past. We only brought them forward as a curiosity to learn from, to have information to help with the present lifetime. In that way, they're valuable and have importance. But as Sydney listens to the recording and goes over the material and puts it into place, it will not bother her in any way, mentally or physically, That is very important. It will not bother her in any way, mentally, physically, or emotionally. Now, I want all of the consciousness and personality of Sydney to once again return and fully integrate back into the body completely. And now, all of the consciousness and personality of Sydney is once again fully integrated back into the body, replacing all the other parts we were speaking to. Now, I want Sydney to move up through time and through space, and orient yourself back into the present day and time. This is August 23rd, 2018. You're lying here on the bed in Los Angeles in Valley Village, and you just had a very interesting experience. And I want you to remember that the present life you're living now is the most important life of all, because it is the one that you're focused on at the present time. Any information we can find in this way is valuable, but it will not bother you in any way, mentally or physically, as you understand it and put it into place. That is very important. It will not bother you in any way. Now, in a moment, I'm going to count to 10. And on the count of 10, you will be wide awake, feeling wonderful all over, as though you've had a nice nap, a nice sleep. You will feel truly rested and refreshed. Anytime you do this, it will always be an enjoyable experience. Now follow me up as we go, and on the count of 10, you will be wide awake, feeling wonderful all over. 1, 2, you're beginning to breathe a little faster. Your blood is beginning to circulate a little faster because you are beginning to wake up now. 3, 4, you're becoming aware of the physical body. Very much aware of the physical body. You can move your arms and legs around to get the muscles working and the blood circulating, because it gets tiring laying in one position like that. We're getting everything moving again because you're very much aware of the physical body. You're focused on it now because you're beginning to wake up now. 5, 6, you're becoming aware of the sounds in the room and the sounds outside of this room. You're very much aware of your physical surroundings. You're oriented back here in this time and this place, and you're beginning to wake up now. 7, 8, you're coming up very nicely now, very nicely. 9, 10, wide awake, feeling wonderful all over. Hello.
Oh, my arms feel so weird.
Don't they? Everybody says that.
They're like, wow, that's like, it's like sore.
Yeah, no, that happens often.
What's that?
It's just relaxation. Being completely like,
Whoa.
it's like having that corpse look about you, being completely weighed down.
Oh, wow.
How are you feeling?
Ooh. I feel completely awake and relaxed.
Well done.
I feel
well
good.
produced.
I feel like that was amazing.
It was amazing. Such amazing scenes that you saw.
I'm just, I'm feeling the energy healing that happened in that too. That was like really powerful to feel that.
How did you experience that?
Okay.
What were you just hearing or seeing, or?
I just was like hallucinating a little bit in the skylight.
Oh.
It's okay. That happens sometimes. Well, this clearing was really powerful for me.
In your occipital point?
Yeah, this was like a major, I felt like a big, I think, well now it just feels like feels different. I think I felt like a lot of heat leave my body.
Nice.
From that area. And then this part also, the lower chakra area felt like a big, it felt like it moved up. Like,
nice. Good job. Wow. But it's very apparent that you very much are in tune with, different dimensions and different energies.
Yeah, that was fun to be right there. I just went right back up there. That was really cool.
And by the way, that area in the back, that's, some cultures refer to that point as the mouth of God.
I've heard that, yeah. And that has a lot to do with our programming, right? With some of our, the
matrix programming, you mean?
Yeah. Right?
I don't know that part of it. I've never heard of that. I mean, the movie, that's where it went, but...
Yeah. Well, that might have a meaning. That's interesting.
But maybe that's bogged down. That connection might have been severed or bogged down, by stuff that's not supposed to be there, or it's better if it's not there.
Merlin, I heard his voice the first time right after I arrived to Bali, and I was like practicing channeling, and it freaked me out because I heard the name in my ear, like I heard it, like someone was in the room speaking to me.
Yeah.
And it really freaked me out.
Nice.
And I was like, okay, wait, this is cool. Let's do this.
This is great, and this is some. I mean, it was confirmed that this is something that you can, you can put that in your like medicine belt, or it's an energy that you work with. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've always felt that, and it just feels so good to know it and to receive that validation. And feels really good.
I've encountered Merlin before in sessions.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the same. It felt kind of the same, and most of the information was matching.
That's so
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
Wow, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Wow,
Such a
so
great job.
cool.
How long did you feel it took?
3 hours? 2.5?
You're almost on the dot. Yeah, 2.5. 2 hours and 25.
Great.
From the point where we took you off the cloud.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when I started recording.
Cool.
Yeah. Good job. Yeah, I can see you're a well-versed traveler in those different realms. Yeah.
That was really, really different. It was strange for me to have you know what happened is as you were guiding me on the cloud, this is interesting, I had a really strong fear come up.
Oh?
And it was like, I was afraid you were going to kill me.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh.
I knew that you weren't, but it was like an old fear came up of like, he's going to like kill you. It's like putting you in a trance to kill you.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I don't think it was about you, don't take it personally. But it was like,
no, I don't take it
it's a projection,
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's like, is it part of being in a process like this, or is it maybe you think like maybe we've been in lifetimes before where
like
there was
fully letting go,
letting go,
and then being like in danger of that.
Oh.
Taken advantage of.
Oh, that's what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't do that.
I know.
Yeah.
It was just interesting to feel that. And
feel that, yeah.
And also to feel like in that my conscious mind being like, is it okay to like really do this?
Right. I mean, it's a very valid fear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was unexpected, but I'm like, I think it's fine.
Yeah, because as you notice, you could have been taking yourself out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could have stopped at any moment and said like, oh, I'm done.
I guess the question for me is like, can I go? I guess I would want to practice more, but my conscious mind still felt very present for me, and the line was very blurry between like being in, like, okay, which one am I in, and am I fully allowing this to be received,
So my sense of that is that for some of us, that it's our job to trust that we are that connection, that it's the same thing. Actually, I had this...
It's the same thing, yeah.
Yeah, I had this worded by somebody else who had this like crazy spectacular like spiritual awakening. Like it was like...
In the session?
No, she had it before. And so in the time following, she was channeling, and all kinds of energies were flying all over the place, and like her voice would change and her body would do weird things. And after a while, that tapered off, and she was just like, it's just me. And so during her session, we even skipped all the past life stuff, and then we were right in her higher self, and started explaining it. This is what's here for everyone. You are it. There's no need to differentiate between these different levels, or like I'm tapping into this or tapping into that. What's here right now is not that. It's kind of your message as well in your session. But that it is our consciousness now, that we are it. We are source funneled into this individuated experience. You are it, and that's where we find our, to trust that, which is part of your session as well, rather than it needing to be something that feels different or looks different or that is outside of you. Yeah.
That feels so good. We're doing it. That's really fun.
Yeah.
You can channel stuff and be in the third dimension.
You can.
All at once.
You are the anchor point for that.
I
Yeah.
feel like I sweated all over your table. Is that normal?
It's normal, and so you did actually.
Hot.
Normal people leave like more of a sweat stain and all kinds of. Sometimes women start their periods, or people like
Oh yeah.
throw
I
up and
started
stuff.
this morning, right in time. It's like,
Right in
get
time
ready.
before.
Yeah, but wow.
Get ready for the release.
Move that energy. Yeah.